Hello, this is wmpyr here with a Yawara stick sent to me by Joe from TieRodTactical.com. And this one is the DuPont Del Rin, so it is made of like a polymer, like a plastic. And because of that, it's not titanium like most of his bottles. It's still very, very solid, and it is lighter. I do enjoy the feel. So anyway, um, when practicing with something like this, I see there's two major ways to practice with something like this, right? Number one is something I've already showed you guys in my garage. I have a tire that's hanging from the punching bag stand. So you're making solid contact with that, and that makes sense because just doing it in the air alone, or on something like this where I don't want to damage this, so I'm not making full contact. That's not enough because in real life you never know, and you don't want to be freaking out at how much force you're actually going to have to make, and to feel the force, the rebound, the recoil, all to be dealing with all of that and how much it's going to make you off balance or whatever. You don't want to be dealing with all that for the very first time in a real life situation. So you can get some of that experience from training with a tire and practice going to town on it. Just making your heart rate go up a little bit and get some good exercise that way. Because guess what? In a real life scenario, your heart's going to be boom, 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 boom. So if you don't do at least a little bit of that, man, it's really going to feel very awkward, very uncomfortable, and it's just too much stuff going on. And you want to try to get used to that as much as you can, right? The other kind of training is where you see people do in the Filipino martial arts and stuff. They have partner training, and right here I'm doing it with stickman, but it's this kind of dealing with the arm type stuff. And there's a lot of techniques that can come out from here: takedowns, disarms, lock flow, which is going from one joint lock to the next, and whatnot, right? All of that, all those trapping type techniques and stuff, this can look very, very complex, and in some ways it is, and it can also be very intimidating and confusing to look at. And I see a lot of people see that kind of stuff and they go, you know what, that's not realistic. They're not trying to really hurt each other, and therefore it's not realistic. Nobody attacks that way, and therefore I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do the tire training, okay? And I believe that is a wrong attitude to have, and that is a wrong way of thinking, because if all you do is tire training, in real life scenario, let's say this person is actually attacking me, so I'm like, okay, this is it, folks. This is real life situation. I got to defend myself, right? So you're going to feel the adrenaline, you're going to go tunnel vision, and boom, 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 boom. You do hopefully exactly what you do with the tire, and that's great until you find out that, oh, you've been stabbed, and you didn't even know it. You've been stabbed right here, but you were so focused on doing what you do with the tire that, it was clueless. And then afterwards, this guy's on the ground, and you go, yes, I did it. And then, wait a minute, there's blood. What's going on? That's what we don't want, right? So this kind of training that they do here, I believe it's like the ancestors of the Filipino martial arts, or whatever martial arts styles. They're telling you, they're saying, hey, don't ignore this arm. Bad things can happen, so don't ignore this arm. You got to be able to learn how to deal with it. So that they're teaching you that, and I think there's some really, really good lessons there. So, yes, it can look extremely complex. So, therefore, you need something that's a lot simpler to start from. And that's why I teach overhook, underhook. So that's two positions. Underhook, overhook from the inside, and then over here, same thing. Underhook or overhook on the outside. So that's a total of 4 positions. And that's a very, very good place to start, in my opinion. So you start from there, and then you start adding moves on there. So techniques. So the easiest one I can think of right here from an overhook situation is to pop his arm just like that. So this is his arm, this is his face, body. So my arm is over right here, and then I just crank his arm right here. If I don't do this, like I said, and if all I know is the tire, and this is all I know, he might be reaching out for his knife or gun or whatever, and I'm missing out on an opportunity. Maybe I see it, but I kind of don't know what to do. If I haven't practiced this kind of stuff. So it's nice to, oh, okay, I'm not going to let you do that. It's nice to have moves like this. This is the underhook. Now it's a shoulder lock. Okay, the counter to a shoulder lock, what he wants to do is to just grab my hand and just get me in a headlock. All right, and that's where this comes in. So he wants to grab and bring me close right here, get me in a headlock. I can use this on his face. I don't even have to strike him. On his face and push him. So then I can go back to the shoulder lock. I create the distance to extend out his arm, and I get the shoulder lock, right? If I don't get this distance, then he gets the headlock. So I push out that way. I could do the same idea over here. I want the arm wrench right here. So I have his arm out like this, and I want to snap it, right? His defense would be to just grab me in a bear hug. So now I can't do it now, right? Now it's like I have to move his whole body. And, what if this guy's bigger than me? So then I could just use this once again, the Yawara stick, press it, create the distance, push him away, like off of his face. And now I could go to the arm wrench. So that's the whole idea right there, is to keep awareness. Now, real quick story. I don't want to make this video too long, but I had a friend back in college. He was a guy that we trained Eskrima and Kali together. I had already a Filipino martial arts background. I had been training in Arnis, but yeah, he had been trained. He was a military guy, and he had trained with his teacher, who was a Vietnam vet in Eskrima Kali. So he was teaching me his style of Kali Eskrima, and in it, the guy got into an altercation one time, and just to keep it real short, what happened basically was that he was aware of the guy's arm, so this is exactly what we want, and he just was checking it, and he just traced the arm down. Well, of course, this arm is, worried about this one coming in like so. So he had this right here, and then this over here. Just checked the arm, and then it went all the way down to the guy's firearm. In other words, the guy was reaching to take out his firearm. So he stopped that, just because that was the style, And we did that kind of training where you're just checking on the arms, just being aware of the arms. So, my main point here is don't limit yourself just to the striking, okay? Always, instead of just criticizing techniques or styles or whatnot, because I see a lot of that today. People are so fast to criticize. Instead of criticizing, look at it and be a Sherlock Holmes and go, how can I solve this mystery? If it doesn't make sense to you, how can I solve this puzzle? How can I make it work? So please change the attitude to that, and then I think you'll see that there's a lot of benefits that'll come out. So that's all martial arts training should be about, is about you getting as much benefits as you can. Not about going, I don't like this, I don't think that works. You're just making things narrower, and now you have a very closed mind and very limited stuff. That's all you got. I don't think that's the way to train. So just my advice. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.